This unit is about the Jewish community of Veria. Veria is in northern Macedonia, northwest of Salonika. Originally, it was a Greek-speaking Judeo-Greek Romaniot community. It's known as a place where the disciple Paul came, and we don't know a lot about the history in the afterward, but Sfaradim came after the Spanish expulsion, and it was an Ottoman Jewish community. Today, what's special is that there's a synagogue that's been restored, and there's a Jewish ghetto. It's one of the only places that you can sort of see what the Jewish community looked like in its entirety. It was a small Jewish community. It had about 650 Jews. About 460 were annihilated in the Holocaust. The rest hid or fled and went to the mountains or were in the partisans. The current synagogue was rebuilt, I think, in 1850. It looks very quaint. It's you can even go there today. It's on a river, and on the other side of the river there was a cemetery, which unfortunately isn't there anymore because the Jewish communities of Greece didn't want to wall the cemetery, and then it was pillaged, and chickens were running all over. There were some inscriptions, but it's no longer there. In the third slide, there's a wall of the Jewish ghetto of like apartment buildings, and on top there's a Hebrew inscription which says, "Remember the events in Jerusalem in 1881." Basically, they're referring to the pogroms in Kishinev and the migrations to the area at that time of the Ashkenazi Jews. Some came to the region, but they didn't stay. So you have some pictures of what the ghetto looked like and what it and the revitalization. A lot of the neighborhood was renovated by all sorts of international development funds, and today it's like a museum. So essentially, most of the Jews were killed in the Holocaust. In the end, let's say in the 80s and the 90s, there are only 3 Jewish families left, or 3 Jewish old people or couples. The synagogue is a traditional Sephardic synagogue. It looks very nice. Looks a lot nice probably now than it did then, but you have an idea of what it looked like. There isn't a lot to say about the history, but in terms of the Holocaust, also there was a partisan hero named Lazaros Azaria. He was on the Central Committee of the leftist partisans. He established food cooperatives in the region of Thessaly. He was an agronomist. I uncovered one rescue story, one hiding story of a family. The father had disappeared. I think eventually he was deported, but the mother was left with 6 kids, and they hid on a porch in the center of the city, on an outdoor porch opposite the mosque. And for maybe, I don't know, a year and a half, and one kid died of starvation. But I interviewed one of the other children who was an adult in my community in Israel. Today there's some focus on the Jews of Veria. Also, originally it was a Romaniot community. So they were Greek-speaking Judeo-Greek Jews from the Byzantine Empire. And then when the Sfaradim came, the culture of the Jews became Judeo-Spanish or Sephardic. And that's a nice short story.